stuff in my Scratch homepage. Simon M. Lewis is my Scratch profile, and we're going to create a new project where we're going to look at setting up a kind of a World Cup profile. So it's basically the idea of this is just to show you how you can create profiles of particular characters, and where you can flick through them. Now I'm going to use 3 different characters for this, and basically one of them is not going to be Scratch the Cat, but what I am going to do is I'm going to change his costume and add some countries in here. So we've got England, France, Croatia and Belgium as the semi-finalists in the World Cup 2018 when I've made this video. And what I want to do is I'm just creating profile pages for all 3 of them, or all 4 of them. I just need to get rid of Scratch there. Okay, so I have my England team, I have my Croatia team, my France team and my Belgium team. What I'm going to do is then give these sprites a name, which is the jerseys, so I'm going to say shirts. I like the size of them. I'm moving them over here, so that's absolutely fine. I notice the Croatian one's a little smaller than the others, so I'll just make it a little bit bigger. There we go. No, so I'm happy enough with that. So we've got the next thing we need to do is we need to create a new sprite which is for the flags. So here's our new I'm going to paint a new sprite, it says, but actually what I'm going to do is once it is in, I am going to just upload these costumes in here. So there's 4 different costumes as well. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to be using costumes in order to update these kind of profiles each go. So every time you click the spacebar, you hit the spacebar, it's going to change a profile, and the 3 aspects will all change. We also have to get them all in order. So our shirts are England, Croatia, France and Belgium. So let's do that. England, Croatia, France and Belgium. Okay, and we'll give this a better name as well. And we'll call these the flags. So we have our flags in place. And then finally we need to get our words. I'm just going to move this here, so our word is going to go up here, and that's going to be also a new sprite. Now I like to use the text. You can use the Scratch's own text, but I like to make a little picture of text, and we'll just do it in black and in the Scratch handwriting. So this one is England to start off with. I'm going to change that to Scratch's own font, and then I just need to make it the right size, so we'll do that now. Great, so that is that, and I'll just make sure that I have it all centered correctly. There we go, and just move our England up here. So there's England. It's very important, I want to make sure that my England is in the middle. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to duplicate that, because I want the other countries to have the same to stay around the same area. So our shirts next is Croatia. I just wanted to check what we had. So again, the text, and we're going to go with Croatia, and we're going to make it as big as England. Next we have to delete England. It's a bit tricky working with text, but to be honest, it's not too bad once you get used to it. And again, we just want to make sure that we're in and around the center. Great, so that's Croatia. We do our next one, so I'm going to duplicate, and we put in our text. Let's see who it was. It was France, and we will make that big enough. Great. So again, we get rid of Croatia, and we bring France to the middle, and then we make sure it's centered. So simple stuff, really. This is the main bulk of the work, really. And last of all, we need to put in Belgium, and we've got the bulk of the work done. Belgium. Okay, and finally we just get rid of France, and we get in Belgium, and again we try and center Belgium roughly. Now, there we go. So let's tune everything back. So now we have all our costumes in place, our shirts, our flags, our sprites. I'd say it's probably a good idea if you want to give these things a name. I'm not going to in this case, just to save a bit of time. But generally, it's a very good idea to give your sprites names. I will give this a name though, of course, to names. Now, our job now is to actually code it. I'm leaving the stage blank. I'm leaving the stage completely blank as I don't need it. I'm after making a bit of an error there. Whoops. I'll fill the screen. There we go. We have our stage there is completely blank. And basically what we're going to do is very simple. We are just going to change the costume of each shirt, of the shirt, the flag, and the name, all in one go whenever you hit the space bar. There's loads of ways you can do that. Each sprite can be coded separately. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tool called the broadcast tool. So what I'm going to do is on the stage, we're going to have a look at our events. When the space bar is pressed, I'm going to broadcast a message, and I'm just going to say, call the message something else. Next team. Okay, and basically what happens then is when I get to shirts, when what I'm looking for is when I receive next team, what I'm going to do is I am just going to go to our looks, and we're going to go to the next costume. It's as simple as that. And all I do now is copy that to flags, and then I go on to names. By clicking and dragging them onto that, it copies the code over. So let's see if we test our thing out. Let's see what happens. I hit space, it changes. So what we get there is your little kind of easy enough profile generator. It changes with each team. Now you can use this obviously with any topic. I've just used the World Cup semi-finals because that's the time where I created this. We could do this for characters of a novel. You could do it for anything at all, profiles of anything really. I suppose if that's the simplest way, I'm going to complicate things a little more in the next video. So if you want to add an extra layer of skill to this, what we're going to do is, if you watch my next video, I'm going to show you how you can go move up and down. At the moment you can just go from each profile to each profile. So if you're on England, you're always going to be 3 clicks away from Belgium, which is all well and good when you've got 4 profiles. You may have loads and loads and loads of profiles, so you might want to try an up and down arrow to move through the profiles. That's what I'm going to do next. So tune into that video. You can find this scratch video in the credits below, as well as any credits I give for any of the images that I've used. Thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.